Welcome back to Insights That Matter. I'm Harper.
And I'm Lisa.
And we're diving deep today into Patanjali Foods' second quarter performance for fiscal year 25.
Their recent earnings call.
Yeah, their earnings call.
It had some pretty interesting tidbits in there.
Yeah, it did, especially when it comes to their record EBITDA.
For sure.
And also those plans around palm oil expansion that they've been talking about.
It's a really dynamic picture, especially with all of the challenges that they've been facing.
Right.
Like the uneven rainfall impacting their FMCG sector.
Yeah, that's definitely a factor.
And then those unpredictable wheat prices.
Right.
And of course, we can't forget about the ever-present issue of rising palm oil costs.
Yeah, that always seems to be in the background.
It's quite a mix.
It is. It really makes you wonder how they managed to achieve such strong performance in spite of all of that.
Right.
A record EBITDA of ours, 493.86 cores.
Wow.
That's a 17.81% year-over-year growth.
That's significant.
It is significant. It's nothing to sneeze at.
Not at all.
And on top of that, they even declared a dividend of Rs8 per share.
Which signals confidence for sure.
Yeah, it seems like they're pretty confident about the direction they're headed.
I think that confidence likely comes from how diverse their portfolio is.
That makes sense.
Because while some areas might be experiencing margin pressure, others are really shining.
Right.
So, for example, within their food and FMCG segment,
Okay.
which brought in RC 2,303 crores in revenue.
Okay, wow.
Their Indian ethnic foods category really stood out with a 21% EBITDA margin.
Wow. 21%.
21%, and that's...
What kinds of products are we talking about?
So think ghee, honey, those sorts of staples.
Okay, yeah.
Now, 21% is likely a bit high to sustain over the long haul.
Okay.
But it still really points to strong consumer demand in this area.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Those products have deep cultural roots.
Definitely.
And are often seen as essential in a market like India. So let's talk about something a little bit more fun.
Okay.
Biscuits.
Oh, yeah. Everyone loves biscuits.
They reported their second highest ever quarterly sales for biscuits.
Wow.
Which seems to be driven by both their popular dude biscuits.
Yeah, I love those.
As well as some newer launches like the Reiji 7-grain and digestive varieties.
It's interesting how they're using both, the established products that everyone knows and loves, and then these strategic new launches to really capture different segments of the market.
Totally.
And they're applying that same approach to their Nutrilla soya chunks.
Interesting. How so?
Well, they brought on Shilpa Shetty as a brand ambassador.
Smart.
And they've been partnering with chefs for online content.
Oh, very savvy.
Yeah, it's a really savvy way to tap into those health-conscious trends and broaden their appeal.
And it seems to be working.
It really does.
Nutrilla hit new highs this quarter.
It did.
Even their nutraceuticals division, which is still relatively small.
It is. It's small but mighty.
It is?
It's on track to reach its revenue goals.
That's impressive.
With a healthy 25% margin.
Wow, 25%.
Yeah, and they just added Shahid Kapoor to their roster of celebrity endorsements.
Wow, so they're really going all in on celebrity endorsements.
They are. It seems to be a big part of their strategy to elevate those brands.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how those celebrity partnerships play out long term.
It will.
But now, turning to their edible oil business.
Okay.
It brought in a substantial Rs, 5,939.21 crore in revenue.
Wow, that is substantial.
With a steady 4.05% EBITDA margin.
Okay, so steady.
Steady, however, this sector is facing a lot of pressures from these global trends.
It is.
Particularly the increasing use of edible oils and biofuels.
Right, that's driving prices up worldwide.
Yeah, it's definitely a complex global picture.
For sure.
And closer to home, we've got the delayed soybean harvest in India.
Right.
And the government's intervention with MSP procurement.
Right.
All this is adding to the complexity.
It is.
It makes you appreciate how Patanjali is navigating all of these challenges.
Yeah.
While also pursuing these ambitious long-term goals.
Absolutely.
Particularly when it comes to palm oil.
Their focus on palm oil.
Yeah.
It's about way more than just this quarter's revenue numbers.
I think so, too.
It's really about their long-term vision of Atmanirbharta.
Self-reliance.
Yes, self-reliance when it comes to edible oil production.
Right, and that aligns perfectly with India's national push for self-sufficiency.
It does.
And Patanjali is putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, they are.
They expanded their cultivated area for palm oil by over 5,200 hectares this quarter alone.
That's a lot of land.
It is a lot of land, bringing their total to a substantial 80,000 hectares.
It's pretty incredible.
And they're not stopping there.
No, they are not.
Their goal is even more ambitious.
It is. Tell me more.
500,000 hectares within the next 5 years.
Wow.
If they achieve that,
Yeah.
they could potentially be meeting about 60% of their own palm oil needs domestically.
If they can pull that off, it would be a total game changer.
Yeah, not just for Patanjali Foods, but for the landscape of edible oil in India.
It's definitely a story worth watching.
It is. So we're just talking about this massive shift towards e-commerce and quick commerce.
Right.
And it seems like Patanjali Foods, they're aware of the need to adapt.
Yeah, definitely.
But it really begs the question, how can they leverage their existing strengths while also navigating these new channels?
It's a balancing act for sure.
Right.
You know, they've built this reputation for affordability and accessibility.
Yeah.
And that's really resonated deeply with a huge segment of Indian consumers.
Right.
But the online marketplace often operates by a totally different set of rules.
Yeah, that's true.
The consumer shopping online, they tend to be seeking convenience. They want a really curated experience and often a sense of premiumization.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It seems almost counterintuitive to their traditional image.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Do you think this focus on premiumization that we talked about earlier could be the key to unlocking their online potential?
It could very well be.
Oh.
You know, think about product lines that naturally lend themselves to premiumization.
Yeah.
And that kind of align with the trends that are popular among online shoppers.
Okay.
Take their nutraceuticals, for example.
Okay.
This category already taps into that growing health and wellness movement.
Which is huge online.
Exactly. Huge online.
Yeah.
They could do things like create exclusive online bundles,
Okay.
offer personalized consultations,
Interesting.
maybe even partner with fitness influencers
Oh, yeah.
to reach that specific audience.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
And what about their Indian ethnic foods?
Oh, yeah.
Could they offer things like curated online gift boxes, recipe tutorials featuring their products, or even virtual cooking classes?
I love it.
It feels like there's a lot of potential there
Yeah, there's
to create an experience,
Yeah.
not just sell a product.
It's about storytelling.
Yeah.
Building a community around their brand and offering something unique
Right.
that goes beyond what you can find in a traditional brick and mortar store.
Exactly. Adding value beyond just the product itself.
Absolutely.
That can really make a difference online.
Huge difference.
So imagine like a dedicated Patanjali D2C platform. You could buy their premium ghee, organic honey, handcrafted soaps, all beautifully packaged
I love it.
and delivered right to your doorstep.
It's a great way to tap into that aspirational consumer base that's increasingly drawn to online shopping.
Right. And let's not forget about the data aspect.
Oh, the data,
E-commerce platforms.
Yeah,
They offer a treasure trove of information about consumer behavior,
it's true.
their preferences, what's trending, what's selling, what's not.
They have it all.
Patanjali could really leverage this data
For sure.
to personalize their offerings,
Yeah.
fine-tune their marketing,
Right.
even develop new products that directly respond to the needs of their online customers.
It's like getting a real-time pulse on the market.
Yeah, it is. It's crucial in today's fast-paced environment.
It is.
But let's be realistic here.
Okay.
This shift
Yeah.
to a more digitally focused strategy,
Right.
it comes with its own set of challenges, doesn't it?
It does. There are definitely challenges.
They'll need to invest in building the right infrastructure.
Right.
From logistics and warehousing
Yes.
to digital marketing expertise and robust customer support.
Yeah, it's not as simple as just setting up a website and expecting customers to just flock to it.
Yeah, they're up against some established e-commerce giants.
They are.
And some really nimble DTC brands
Very nimble, very agile.
that are already well-versed
Yeah.
in the digital game.
It's going to require a strategic, long-term commitment, a significant investment of resources, and a willingness to adapt.
And it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
can they maintain that renowned efficiency
Right.
and cost consciousness that they're known for
Yeah.
in this new digital landscape?
That's going to be a key factor in their success.
I think so too.
For sure.
Because the rules of the game are definitely different online.
They are very different.
But let's shift gears for a moment here
Okay.
and talk about the other significant element that we discussed.
Okay.
Their ambitious palm oil expansion.
Yes.
This is a bold move
It is.
with implications that extend
Yeah.
far beyond just their business.
Absolutely.
It's interesting how their strategy really seems to align with national goals.
It does.
India's push for Admanaraparta.
Right.
It resonates very strongly with Patanjali's vision for their palm oil business.
It really does.
It's not just about reducing reliance on imports.
No.
It's also about supporting local farmers, creating jobs, and contributing to the development of rural communities.
It's a really compelling narrative.
It is.
But we do also need to acknowledge the nuances and potential downsides of large-scale palm oil production.
That's fair.
Environmental implications, such as deforestation, biodiversity loss.
Of course.
These need to be addressed transparently and proactively.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Sustainable practices are non-negotiable.
Yeah, they really are.
For any company hoping to be perceived as responsible and forward-thinking in today's world.
Absolutely.
Consumers are more aware than ever.
They are.
Of the environmental impact of their choices.
Right.
And they're demanding more.
Much more.
From the companies they support.
And it's not just consumers.
Right.
Investors are paying attention as well.
For sure.
Those ESG factors, environmental, social, and governance.
Yeah.
Those are becoming increasingly central to investment decisions.
Right.
So Patanjali is going to need to demonstrate that their palm oil expansion is not just about profit, but also about environmental and social responsibility.
It's about striking that delicate balance between growth ambitions and a commitment to sustainability.
They need to convince both consumers and investors that their vision for palm oil is one that ultimately benefits everyone involved.
And it's undoubtedly a complex challenge.
It is.
But if they can successfully demonstrate a sustainable model for palm oil production, it could have a ripple effect throughout the entire industry.
It really could.
And that would be an incredible legacy to build.
Yeah, it would.
But it requires transparency.
For sure.
Accountability. And a genuine willingness to engage with stakeholders.
All of those things are important.
It's not just about planting trees.
No.
It's about cultivating trust and demonstrating that sustainable growth is actually a real possibility.
It's about adopting a long-term perspective that goes beyond just those short-term gains and really considers the impact on future generations.
Right, and that's what makes this whole story so fascinating.
It really is.
Patanjali Foods is at a crossroads.
They are.
And the decisions that they make now, they're going to have a lasting impact.
For sure.
Not only on their own trajectory, but also on the world around them.
It feels like we're just starting to see the contours of their vision, the outlines of their strategy. But it's clear that they're not content with standing still.
No.
They're pushing boundaries, embracing change, and challenging the status quo.
And that's what makes them a company worth watching.
It really is.
They embody those larger trends that are shaping the Indian consumer market. The rise of e-commerce, the demand for premiumization, the increasing focus on sustainability, and that ambition to achieve self-reliance.
It's a story filled with complexities, challenges, and a world of opportunities.
Yeah, and it's a story that's still being written.
It is. We're just at the beginning.
We need to take a quick break.
Okay.
Well, when we come back for the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore what all of this means for investors and consumers alike.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned. We've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive into Patanjali Foods.
Yeah.
From their impressive financial performance to their ambitious plans for palm oil expansion. And also their response to this whole rise of e-commerce.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
But as we're wrapping things up, what are the key takeaways here?
Yeah. What should investors and consumers really be paying attention to in the coming months and years?
Yeah, from an investor's perspective, Patanjali Foods is presenting a pretty compelling case.
It seems that way.
Their record, EBITDA, steady growth across a variety of different segments, and their strategic acquisitions. All of that points to a company that's on a solid trajectory.
They're not just riding the wave.
No.
It seems like they're actively shaping it.
Right. And their focus on Atmanaraparta.
Yeah.
Especially in the edible oil sector. It aligns perfectly with those national priorities.
It does.
Which give them a competitive edge. And potentially even lead to some favorable policies down the line.
That's a good point.
And their push towards premiumization. Combined with their foray into the rapidly expanding world of e-commerce and quick commerce.
Right.
Really demonstrates an understanding of that evolving consumer landscape.
Yeah, they're showing a willingness to adapt and innovate.
Yeah.
Which is essential in today's market.
But it's not all smooth sailing, is it?
It's not. There are definitely some risks and challenges to consider.
Like what?
Well, the integration of their HPC business,
while
promising, needs to be executed seamlessly.
Of course.
And then their ambitious palm oil expansion.
Yeah.
That's going to require some really careful navigation of the environmental and social concerns.
Exactly. So investors would be wise to keep a close eye on how Patanjali addresses these challenges.
I think so, too.
Transparency, accountability,
and
a genuine commitment to sustainable practices.
Those are key.
Will be critical for maintaining investor confidence.
For sure.
And ultimately for creating long-term value.
Absolutely.
And for consumers.
Yeah.
What does all of this mean?
Yeah, what can they expect?
Well, I think we can expect to see an even wider range of Patanjali products hitting the shelves, catering to a greater variety of tastes and preferences, from their traditional affordable staples to some more premium offerings. And we'll also likely be encountering them more frequently online.
Right, as they ramp up that e-commerce and direct-to-consumer presence.
Yeah, and perhaps the most significant impact will be felt in the edible oil sector.
Possibly.
If Patanjali's push for palm oil self-sufficiency is successful, it could lead to more stable prices and greater availability of domestically produced edible oils.
That would be a win for sure.
Yeah, not only for consumers, but for India's overall economic resilience as well.
It's a good reminder that business decisions can really have a ripple effect.
They do.
Impacting not just a company's bottom line, but the lives of everyday people.
That's what makes these deep dives so fascinating.
It is.
We get a glimpse into how companies are evolving, adapting, and striving to make a difference.
Ultimately, the success of Patanjali Foods hinges on their ability to execute their vision and translate those ambitious plans into tangible results.
It's a journey that'll be interesting to follow, for sure.
Definitely.
One that holds valuable lessons for investors, consumers, and really anyone interested in the dynamic landscape of the Indian economy.
What stood out to you the most during this deep dive?
What stood out to me the most? I think I'm really curious to see how their sustainability initiatives evolve. Especially with their palm oil expansion.
It's a complex issue.
It is. There's no easy answers.
Not at all.
And I'm also interested to see how they navigate the world of e-commerce and D2C. Can they maintain their competitive edge in a landscape that's really dominated by giants like Amazon and Flipkart?
That's the question.
It'll be fascinating to watch it all unfold.
It certainly will.
It's a story that's far from over.
Not even close.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of Patanjali Foods.
This was fun.
It was.
Yeah.
We hope you found this insightful.
I hope so too.
Be sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives just like this.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back.
And as always, thanks for listening.